Walnut is a type of guy who drinks plenty of tap water. He lives a passive existence and tries his best not to let anything get in the way of his simple lifestyle. The one thing he is concerned with, however, is protecting his dear plant brethren, and that he does. Walnuts provide a reasonably cheap and efficient defense, whose sole purpose is to keep zombies at bay for an extended period of time. They can tank a decent amount of damage before being destroyed by zombies, and have different graphics for each amount of health they lose. This is what's known as a D grade, which is cool because it helps gauge the amount of damage something has taken, like with zombie armor as well, for example. Walnut also works excellently when paired with melee or close-range plants like bok choy or fume choom, for example. This allows close-range plants to deal damage without being killed right away by more armored zombies. This goes for all wall plants, but Walnut is the most easily accessible early game, and acts as a cheaper alternative to Tallnut, who is obtained not long after. It is true, however, that Walnut, or just wall plants in general, do have to compete with other types of stalling plants, like iceberg lettuce or hurricane, for example. There are some scenarios where these alternate stalling options are more effective, but sometimes using Walnut in conjunction with these other stallers can end up being the best defensive option. The one big problem Walnut will always have, however, is his inability to stall zombie instakills. Zombies like Gargs, barrel rollers, and torchlights especially are completely unfazed by Walnut because of their insta-killing properties, not to mention wizards, octos, and excavators who disable them altogether. This is why those other stalling plants I brought up earlier end up having a lot more utility in most scenarios. Sometimes, though, Walnut is able to tank what would normally be considered insta-kill attacks because of the way they attack plants. Turquoise Skull Zombies blasts and Hair Metal Garg shockwaves, for example, only do enough damage to one-shot non-wall type plants, which is why Walnut can be of incidental use in these scenarios. I also feel the need to mention Walnut's sluggish recharge. It's tolerable and shouldn't matter much if you keep planting them after they're done recharging, but this minor setback can be in the difference between a small annoyance or a life or death situation, especially in the don't let the zombies trample the flowers levels. This weakness is kind of how the plant was designed, however, as to make it not overpowered. Plus, Walnut is most useful as a support plant and shouldn't be relied upon too heavily anyways. And although not necessarily designed for this purpose, Walnut also works great with buffs as well, like Aloe and Imitator, for example. This makes Walnut an even better option among his nut brethren because of how cheap he is. On a separate note entirely, I love the fact that Walnut just looks like a stupid egg. It's adorable, and I don't think any other plant quite captures what I like to call his signature tap water energy. I say tap water because me and one of my good friends were having a chat while I was playing the game, and he randomly made a joke about Walnut drinking tap water. That joke oddly resonated with me for some reason, and somehow I feel it perfectly represents Walnut's plain, yet down-to-earth quality. All things considered, Walnut is a good egg and does his best to keep the zombies at bay. Sure, he's a little slow, but he has a good attitude and sincerely tries his best. He certainly has his weaknesses, but with a little help from his friends, Walnut can be a truly valuable asset in the fight against zombies. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot that you made it all the way to the end of the video. If you like these plant reviews, please consider giving it the old like and comment, and consider subscribing to see more in the future.